What's up, guys? This is Ebb Friday, and I just want to thank you guys for joining me. I do have something special for you guys today. I'm going to take you guys along how I go about developing my color grades, my looks. I'm going to give you guys a secret. I'm going to show you guys what I do. So, here we have a still of the assassination of Richard Nixon. If anyone has seen the film, I think it's an amazing film. It's beautifully shot, color graded, the works. So what I want to do is I want to match the look of this film to my image. And, obviously it was shot on a different camera, different lenses, different lighting, but ultimately I think I was able to capture the essence of this shot. So let's get into it. All right, just close that. So what I'll do is I'll save this grade, and then we'll delete it, start from scratch. All right, so this is the raw footage coming out of the Red Scarlet. I've changed it over to Red Log Film, and let's begin. So first we want to start off with 3 nodes, Alt S, Alt S, Alt S. Spread those out. So the first step, I would add a LUT. So I'm going to use the LUTs from my new LUT pack. It's called Elite LUTs. It was made for many different cameras, but we're going to use the Red Log Film, and we're going to use the Space LUT. It's my favorite LUT. All right, straight away we can see that the image is underexposed. If we look at his skin, let's pull up the still. If we look at his skin, we can see that it's very orange. That's because I shot this at 2900 Kelvin on the lights because I wanted to match the green sodium vapor street lights. So contrast, I wanted to create that contrast between the character and the environment. So let's begin trying to match this shot. There's 3 things that I look for. Number 1, I'm looking at exposure. 2, I'm looking at saturation, and 3, I'm looking at color. Let's first start with balance. So we're just going to label this as balance. Okay, and let's match the exposure of our reference shot. Bring up the midtones. That looks good. That looks good. Let's bring down the blacks. Okay, cool. It's before, after. So I think we're pretty there as far as exposure. Number 2, we'll add a new node, and we'll name this Sat. Saturation. Cool. So now we want to match the saturation somewhat to our reference still. Let's go down to saturation, and let's just start bringing it down. And as you can see, it's starting to look more and more like our reference still, which is what we want. So I think the saturation is good at 34 for now. And thirdly, we want to adjust color or white balance. So let's create a new node, Alt S. And let's shift around the white balance or the color temperature to see if we can get something closer to our reference. That looks good. Okay, cool. The 4th thing we like to do is Alt S. I like to keep my blacks clean. If you take a look at my blacks, it seems like there's some green, bluish tones in my blacks. And if you look at the reference still, if you look at his hair, it looks pretty black to me. So let's fix that. So we created a new node. We're gonna go to curves. We'll just label these curves. And this one was color, I believe. Cool. Let's go to curves. And we're going to go to Loom versus Sat. We're going to click on the black point, and we're just going to bring the end down. What that's going to do is it's going to desaturate any colors in the shadows. So just bring that down. Good to go. Okay, let's just pull up the still. Okay, it's looking pretty good. Looks like we need to adjust the shadows a bit. So we're gonna go to log controls, and we're just gonna bring down our shadows. That looks pretty cool. Okay, we're almost there. Yeah, I like that. That's pretty cool. All right. If you look at his skin, it looks to me like there's still some orange in his skin, and we want to take that out. So let's take that out. So we're going to create a new node, Alt S. We're going to click on our eyedropper. We're going to click and drag on the skin, click the magic wand, and let's just make a quick selection. That. Let's denoise it a bit. Clean the blacks. Blur the touch. Okay, that's cool. Let's deselect our eyedropper and magic wand. And what we'll want to do is, number one, I want to desaturate the skin a bit. Let's just zoom in. I want to desaturate it a bit, so let's, yeah. That looks cool. And then what I want to do is looks like there's some magenta in the skin. So I just want to lightly add some magenta into the skin. Let's try on the highlights. Before, after, before, after. And I think that looks pretty cool. Zoom out. Okay, we're basically done. I really like this look right here. So what we want to do is, there's 2 more steps that I like to do after a grade. So we're gonna put these steps after the LUT. Alt S, and we're gonna denoise a bit. So we're gonna go to spatial, and 3.4 looks good. Right after the noise reduction, I like to add grain. What happens when you denoise your footage is it causes banding and color issues, and the grain kind of fills those areas back so it looks natural. So the only section we're going to be dealing with in Film Convert is the film section. We're going to bring up the film color slider. That's not doing much. I'm going to bring up the curve. That looks pretty cool. We'll leave it at 50. And then we're going to bring up the grain. And I don't want it to be too noticeable, but I want it to be there. And maybe we'll try Super 35. Okay. Before, after. It's not a big difference, but it's definitely making a difference. And yeah, I think this is my final. Yeah, I think that's my final grade. So before we go, I would like to just remove the LUT and show you guys what the LUT is doing. So let's just turn the LUT off. And as you can see, huge difference. The LUT is basically the backbone of the whole grade. So let's turn that back on. And as you can see, it's definitely where you want to be at. And again, I use this LUT from my Elite LUT package. You can get it on my website. You definitely need this pack. Go get that pack right now. Thanks for checking out my video. Subscribe, comment, let me know what you guys think, and see y'all soon.